Now let's continue our discussion about Python lists. So here we have a show version file, so just an output from some Cisco iOS router. So if I go into the Python interpreter shell, I'm going to go ahead and use my file operations to read from that file. So file name is showversion.txt. I'm going to say output equals f.read. I'm just going to read that in, and I'm actually going to do the read lines method. So I'll do read lines, I'll read that in as one entire list. So if I look at the type of output, you're going to see now that I have a list. We look at the length of output, we're going to see that we have 58 elements in that list. Now there's a way in Python that you can start creating new lists from the original list, and these are called list slices. So if we do output and we say give me element 0 of the list all the way through but not including element 5. So now this is a little bit funny in that with list slices the first element is included but the second index is not included. So this is going to include element 0, element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, but it is not going to include element 5. So here's element 0, here's element 1, here's element 2, here's element 3, here's element 4, but there is no element 5. So we can use these list slices to create new lists from an existing list. Now what happens if you drop the first number? So if you drop the first index, then it's going to start at the very beginning of your existing list. So here we're making a new list slice. It starts at the very beginning of the list, so this is identical to saying 0 here. It goes up through element 5, but it doesn't include element 5. If you drop the last indices, then it's going to go all the way through the end of the list. So here we're going to go from all the way from the beginning all the way to the end of the list. If we started at something like element 55, here we would start at the 55th element all the way to the end of the list. So here would be the 55th, 56th, 57th, all the way through the end of the list. And remember, these are 0 indices, so element 57 would be the 58th thing in it. So it would be 0 through 57, and that would give us our total length of 58. You could also do something in the middle, so we could do a list slice where we say something like, give me 27 through 30. Remember, 31 is not included, so we'll give me index 27 through index 30, and you could get something in the middle. So list slices give us a way to create new lists based on an existing list. So it's basically a dynamic, or basically a way to parse, to slice and dice an existing list to create new lists from it. Now you can also, with list slices, use negative indices. So we could say, give me 55 through -1. Remember, -1 is the last index in the list, but it's not included. And you could actually here have two negative numbers. So you could say, give me -4 to -1. Or you could say -4 to the very end of the list. So you can also use negative indices for list slices.